The Crit Show contains elements of horror, fantasy violence, and adult language. Content warnings can be found in the episode description.
Yeah, I'm at the tail end of another phone game match because I didn't know when table chatter was going to end, okay? Sue me!
Welcome to Clockminders, everybody.
Home of the Crit Show.
Weird energy.
Yeah, well,
Last
Tass, read
time,
your fucking note. What's the note say?
That's for my character. That's not for me.
No, it was specifically for you.
I'm just saying.
the one I put there, that's for you. It says, stay off your phone games.
Oh, I did not read that note.
Tass is like, how was I supposed to know when table chatter was going to end? It's like, I don't know, maybe by the fact that everybody stopped talking and Rev said, ready? And then there was 10 seconds of silence.
And we put on our headphones.
The matches take like 2 minutes. That 10 seconds isn't enough
Then
time.
you don't get to play them now. Save it for when you know you have 2 minutes.
Also, nobody asked you to defend yourself. You started the recording.
Nobody
with it.
came in. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit.
That's it. I'm playing another match.
Whatever. You're not going to be in this one, so it doesn't matter.
You died at the end of the last one. I've already decided.
Yeah, I cleanly just put myself in a crosshair, so
Yeah.
I deserve this.
You probably got. Go ahead. You got 2 minutes. You could start a new one. I don't think we're going to start with you. Anyway, welcome back. Last time, our heroes made their voyage to the fort. They observed some of the surroundings, including additional patrolling wraiths, the remains of some of the battlefields. Kade was able to scavenge some parts off one of the ancient dilapidated sun cannons from the Fey Wars, and they hatched their plan for entry, for Einon to present himself as somebody who was just narrowly getting caught. Kade and Maxine were going to take another path in, trying to actually be stealthy, stay under the radar, use Einon's distraction so that they could get in and temporarily cap off the ether leak, hoping to weaken her to some degree and make this maybe more of a square fight. So I think we will pick up, although we left off with Einon, I think we will pick up with the other two. And because we got into just sort of the mechanics and the roles, I didn't paint much of a picture of Einon's approach or anything. So Kade and Maxine, let's talk about what you are doing, and then maybe I can give a little bit more of an image of everything before we return to Einon and explain what he has done so far and where he is now. So you two were approaching one of the just flawed points in the wall. Did you have any preference on where? I know that you wanted to send Einon towards the front doors. Were you just going to the next nearest spot?
Yeah, I don't think we need to be like exact opposite side or anything, but just somewhere where if she's focused on Einon, her back would be to us.
Okay. And then coming back around to the idea of fucking with the web around you. Where did we arrive on that?
I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna keep that card close to the vest that I can manipulate ether. So I think I'm just gonna try to stealth us.
Yeah, we're going to try to Catherine Zeta-Jones our way through instead of moving the wires around us.
Okay. So remind me, what is Kade's stealthy stunt?
It just allows me, as long as we stick together, that I can stealth for the whole group.
All right. So I think this can still be a teamwork then, but go ahead and give me that stealth roll to get in.
So with Maxine's bump, it would be a 5.
The contested notice is merely a 3.
Mm-hmm.
Would we get any sort of advantage from Einon, since the whole purpose is for him to be drawing attention away?
Yes.
Nice.
Essentially, I am not going to invoke any of her aspects against you to try and bump this roll.
Cool.
I am going to invoke an aspect that I think works in her favor whether she's paying attention or not, which is the aspect you two with the ether use extra have, Ether connects all things. I am going to invoke that in her favor to bump her up to a 5 on the notice. So you guys would tie, unless you want to invoke something as well to bump yourself back up to a success.
I can invoke dual disciplined. I've been studying the magic.
All right, that will bring you back up to the success. Your stealth is successful. So, Kade and Maxine, you observe the wraith's pattern on the outside of the wall. You time it out. You advance through one of the collapses here in the outer barricade of the fort and into the inner grounds. And within these walls, you find that, this isn't just one solid structure. These are the walls surrounding, that make up the outside of the fort. Within, there are some smaller outbuildings. You pass through the wall into, grounds. You are still in the open air. But you can see that there is one very large structure in the middle. You can feel that ether wash coming from somewhere within. And as Gideon had mentioned, from what he knew, the ether core's location is also open air. It was a courtyard almost. So it seems like it is just flanked by the proper structure of this fort. And that also looks to be in poor shape. Whatever this core building is, it's also pretty dilapidated like the walls are. You are able to move up and find a point where one of the walls has collapsed and step through into what appears to be the library of the fort.
Well, it's a library.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to head over and start looking at books. Are they in okay condition?
Everything here is pretty cooked. This has been open to the elements. You can tell that things are water damaged. Moss has grown over a lot of this. Some of these shelves have collapsed when they have rotted away and the weight of the books has taken them out. It looks like basically anything here is trashed.
Oh no, I don't think any of this is salvageable. Look at all of this knowledge that's been lost.
Gosh, there's hundreds of years of knowledge here just gone.
I wonder if there's any way to fix it.
Like the books?
Yeah, I can tell that there's nothing that we could do as they are, but I don't know, there's so much ether here, and we've been seeing people do all sorts of things. I wonder if it'd be possible to repair them.
Oh, I never even thought about trying to use it like that. Okay, one thing at a time.
Right. Yes, movement core.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
You advance through the library, again, feeling out for those webs and making sure to avoid them, dodging all the tripwires. You get to the door that leads into the library, which is hanging off of its hinges, and peeking out, you can see that there is a hallway leading off to your left and off to your right. It seems to kind of curve around as if this hallway might make a loop through this entire building, and you can see doorways off either side of it as it goes. Obviously, straight ahead of you out this door, that would be closer to center, closer to where presumably the movement core itself is. How do you want to head there? Do you have any preference of direction, or is there anything else you're looking for along the way?
I guess just in the hallway, I'm initially looking for any kind of hidden things. There's always been a catch to finding the ether core, a hidden door, a trap space. I'm looking to see if there's anything out here in case it's not just in the middle of the courtyard.
I think I'm looking similarly for those kind of tricks and traps, but more so something that doesn't look like it belongs. Maybe something that was added by Sevna.
Sounds like you are both investigating, but with different ideas in mind. So why don't you both roll to overcome with investigate? I think you're both just trying to beat a 2.
7.
6.
Damn.
Okay, you're both going to get boosts. So, Kade, as you are looking around, everything in here is in bad shape for one reason or another. I think as you enter this hallway, it is a little bit less damage from the elements, just because it's more indoors and a little bit better protected. But this was an active battle fort, so things have been haphazardly repositioned, reused, and obviously just left there since the fort has been long abandoned. But I think you see the evidence of the fact that before this was like a frontline fighting position, it was sort of a tourist attraction almost for the movement core. You are finding the remains of maps of the facility and posters, information packets about the courtyard and how to see the movement core. You get the impression that this one wasn't hidden away that way. This was the one people could come look at. And because it was stationed and like well protected, that was okay. But you are finding that over time, as this became actively utilized, as the fort was under threat, some roughshod modifications were made to try to increase the security of the movement core. They are not remotely as elegantly designed as what you are used to seeing. This was the creation of military humans who were doing their best out here. It wasn't whoever the engineers were of the movement cores. So what you find is that within the courtyard, what used to be fully open air was essentially just domed over. Fairly small, like enough to station a couple of people within, but otherwise they just built a metallic dome over the top of it. A couple people would stay inside with the movement core. Some other people could defend from the outside, and that's the extent of it. You get through the door to the dome, you'll get to the movement core. Maxine, I think what you are finding as you are looking for evidence of Sevna's tampering, you are finding tools and implements that are non-militaristic, that don't seem like they belong here or would have had a function in the fights, but they remind you of what Gideon was describing, the kinds of things that Sevna has had him acquire for her. You think that she has been using her expertise as a clockwinder long ago to, as you guys have theorized, kind of unspool some of the protections that the movement cores have to them. That she might have been in there undoing shit, trying to break it down rather than repair it and open up the flow of ether. So you can tell that she does, like, traverse these halls. She does utilize some of these spaces. Even though the surroundings are in bad shape, there are still newer tools and tables and stuff that have clearly been ported in here later for her to use, like as a workshop. But she is not within this part of the facility as you guys make your way through.
This place used to be like a tourist stop.
Look, these components, this is what she had Gideon get her. This is what she's doing here. This is going to be bad, Kade. This isn't going to be swapping out some ether core. She's been doing work. She's taken it apart. She knows how it works. She did this. Her job was to repair them. And she's using that knowledge and that training to undo everything.
Kade is just pilfering everything in sight that looks remotely useful to repairing clockwinder gear.
Okay.
Maxine is just like shaking angrily.
Once Kade has gathered up everything that he can kind of fit inside of Smee and in his pockets, all right, should we find the door and get to the courtyard?
Yeah, I think it should just be somewhere down this way. I don't know exactly what they've done to protect her or what she's added in.
Yeah, so start going around the hallway to the right, looking for the door out into the courtyard.
Yeah, it is no trouble. You just head to your right for a little bit and find one passage that leads out into the courtyard. This door is slightly reinforced. It seems like maybe she tinkered with this one to make it actually function to some degree. But it also just stands open currently. As you turn that corner, you see just kind of the twilight coming in from the courtyard.
Is there anybody out there that I sense?
Why don't you roll to overcome with notice?
5.
You look out the door, you look around this courtyard, and you see that metal dome in the middle. You can just see the ether pouring off of it. And you don't see anyone else, but you just faintly notice, like, some fresh footprints appearing in the muck.
I point them out to Maxine. But something's walking in there.
I pull him back into the hallway. Do you think it's her?
I don't remember. Was she barefoot?
Were they footprints or shoe prints? Or boot prints?
they're
or
like
claw
boot
prints?
Oh.
Okay.
I thought it was Paul. Plap, plap, plap.
They're hand
They're
prints.
not hit palm prints.
Oh, no, wait. They are wearing shoes. I see that now.
You can tell that they're boot prints because the tread on the bottom has the company's name that makes them. It just says ads. Okay, well, maybe we wait in here until Einon starts his distraction, and then we see if the prints leave?
Yeah. So yeah, we will sit for a while and watch the footprints.
Okay. So, Einon, you had started to breach through the front doors of the fort. You had bypassed the patrolling wraith as well, and into the grounds. Paint me a little picture of how you fucked this up just right. What did this look like? Like, again, there are there are outbuildings. There was like a blacksmith's hut. There were armament tents, and then there is that core structure in the middle that was like where sleeping quarters are, where the library is, where we know out of character they currently are. So what was like your path? What was your method to mess this up just so?
I have an idea here of what this looked like. Did I see anybody on this, like wraiths inside patrolling or anything else like that?
Within the walls?
Yeah.
Not on your approach. You haven't seen anybody.
Okay. So I think so far what I've been doing is kind of trying to make like a slow spiral approach so that I'm sticking to like the cover of the walls at first. And then when I notice like one of these outer buildings that is a little bit closer to central, darting across to that and so on, just slowly making my way slightly more centrally in just kind of a slow pattern. And I think those moments where I'm quote unquote getting caught is anytime that there's a slightly more open space. It's when I'm darting from one point of cover to another to make it seem like, oh, well, if there is going to be anybody patrolling or watching from certain higher angles or things like that, those are the moments where I have to be very, very quick to get from one point to the other. I know, she doesn't know that I know, that by like moving very quickly in those moments that would sort of disturb this veil and pinpoint my location, but it does seem very much like good strategy for just line of sight operation.
Okay. So I think after a couple of these like quick dips from one point to the next, as you are creeping around, you hear a sound. You hear like it's just emanating from all around you. You hear like a ch ch ch.
Oh, I close my eyes, grit my teeth, and I get my bow out, knock an arrow, and just step out a bit and scan for anyone that might be watching.
Okay. Are you trying to genuinely stay hidden in that maneuver, or are you allowing yourself to be seen?
I think at first I'm still trying to remain unseen.
Okay. Then let's do a stealth versus notice.
Okay. 4.
3. So you peek out and scan, and from one of the second story, what used to be a window but is clearly kind of collapsed of that main structure in the center, you see Sevna standing there, like looking out over the grounds, and she's got her hands around her mouth, and it's like she's somehow amplifying this as she goes, ch, ch, ch. And she's looking around for her prey. She is looking in your general area. You clearly have successfully tripped some wires here, but she doesn't seem to spot you right now.
I mean, if I feel confident that she can't see me in this moment, I think I need to put an arrow in her shoulder.
Just in the shoulder. Just the classic don't want to do too much harm.
I don't! I believe she can be redeemed.
And that was his downfall.
Yes, it was.
Okay, give me an attack roll.
Einon's like, I can fix her.
So you'll attack with shoot. She's gonna try to defend herself.
7.
God. She got a 1.
Oh, no.
She got a 1 defending herself with athletics. But I mean, that's the only one that feels fair. Like, if she doesn't know where it's coming from or that it's coming, I don't feel like she'd be magicking it. I think it'd just be like, oh, fuck. Oh, man, is there anything she can invoke? I'm gonna invoke 3 steps ahead for her just to reduce the damage. Like, just to lower the number of steps here. 3 steps ahead, but that's not enough. She's still 4 steps behind.
Yeah. Well, hell, can I spend one for experienced hunter?
Yeah, you can. Okay, so this is a 6-step difference. She needs to mark 6 points of damage. So she's going to immediately mark 3 points of physical damage, a tier 2 condition and a tier 1 condition. As you just bury a fucking arrow through her out of nowhere, and she like looks panicked and then furious, and she's looking at the arrow that's sticking out of her, and like she's like holding onto it in pain, and she goes, "Ow! Einon, why?" I think within the courtyard, you two hear this shout. You hear Sevna calling from somewhere that is not within this courtyard, and you see that those footsteps in the muck like kind of hold. And I think that as you are watching them, like, they are in part of the shadow cast by the structure, like you can kind of glimpse a figure above them. They are not invisible, but they are like melded with the shadows.
Yeah.
But you are able to see this individual. And I think this rings to you as what Vaughn was capable of.
And what is he doing? Like just listening?
Right now, it seems like he is just holding steady.
I think just watching him and just being like, come on, go, go, go.
Yeah, I mean, as you watch, it seems like he is kind of torn, but it's as if he has been commanded to maintain his post here. Like, he stays where he is, and his attention seems drawn to her, but he does not seem like he's going to bail.
I'm going to point at my wrench and then point at him and then shrug my shoulders.
I'll shrug back and then hold up a finger like, wait. And then I'll reach down and like pick up a rock and toss it into the courtyard to try and get him to go investigate the sound. Give Kade an opening.
All right, you toss a rock to the other side of the courtyard, and you see his attention snap that direction, and he starts kind of stalking through the shadows, again, like semi-transparent, towards that rock.
I'm going to spend a fate point to charge myself with ether, and then I'm going to stealth towards him.
Okay, give me a stealth roll.
5.
Nice.
Okay, he got like a -3.
Oh, no.
Good God. So yeah, you managed to sneak up behind him, and I don't think you need to make the attack roll. You just crack him with, well, I guess you do, because we need to know exactly how bad it hurts him. But I'm going to say that he doesn't have an opportunity to defend himself. So just whatever you roll on the attack, that's the damage done.
Okay.
Nice.
6.
He fucking collapses. He doesn't have the requisite stress boxes to take 6 harm. Yeah, he just bites it face down in the muck, unconscious.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Whoa, is he dead?
Oh, God, is he? Like, check for a pulse.
Do you want him dead?
No.
Okay, then he's not dead.
Okay.
I bring Smee out of the hallway. Okay, good job.
Thanks.
All right, let's see what we're dealing with, and I'll head into the dome.
All right, you march towards that metal dome, and you can see that there is only one point of entry to the dome. It is not aligned with either of the doors that lead into the courtyard. It's like 90 degrees off of them. So you circle around, and you see that it is open. And within, you can tell that there is a little bit of like living quarters made up in here. As described, there would be room for 2. It seems like this is only made up for 1, and so it is a little bit more comfortable, a little more lavish, like Sevna has spread out in there. And you see the movement core. As with the ones you've seen thus far, it does kind of like rise up out of the ground, like it is emerging, a half dome almost coming out of the ground. But it's almost like it's been excavated. Like there is a lot more ground taken away from around it. You can see a lot more exposed components. You can see where you would expect there to be like sealed valves and covers. Things are just open, and the ether pouring out of it is tangible. And as you approach that doorway to pass through, you find that you are unable, as if the ether is making a force field of some kind that is currently impassable. Back outside, Einon, you see her up there, like, holding on to this arrow, having called out to you. Again, she doesn't know exactly where you are, but she seems to recognize your handiwork, and has called you out by name. What do you want to do?
I just call out, "My apologies, darling. There are a couple of ways that this can end, and I would prefer it to be with the one where we're both still standing, but that largely involves you conceding this fight and leaving Fort Utrecht immediately."
My darling, I must confess to you, that sucks.
Yes, well...
I hate that one.
Well, I understand, and I would hate to have to put another arrow into you, though my thoughts have dwelled quite a bit on the thought of penetrating you.
Oh my God.
This is not the form that I intended.
Damn! He went there. Just skirted around it for so long.
I feel like that's a badge of honor to take Megan to a full immediate cough instead.
Bypassed all giggles.
Yeah, and there was no drink to trigger the cough.
Yeah, it was just spit.
Are you still like peeking out, like keeping an eye on her?
No, I think very specifically whatever I'm kind of hiding behind, I'm almost like hunkering down to face it so that just the sound of my voice is echoing out and it's hard to pinpoint me.
Okay. You hear her call out, "You must know that that's not going to happen. I've got a good thing going here, and I knew that you all would come for it eventually, and you're welcome for surviving this far. But you must know that you're not going to drive me out of here. You know me."
Settle a bet for me. Is Doris her real name?
No, absolutely not.
I thought not. Did she make it home?
As a matter of fact, no, she has not.
Oh, poor thing. I'm certain she's all right, if it's any consolation to you.
Well, I'll have to take your word for it. I thought it was a bit suspicious that her orb was approaching from Edge River, but I've been on to you for a while, so I thought it might be another ruse.
I thought you might have been.
You played this approach very clever. I thought perhaps I'd been wrong. Maybe it wasn't all of you. Maybe it was just some imbecile coming to treasure hunt.
Well, I appreciate the vote of confidence. Now, if you'll forgive me, and I'm going to put an arrow in her other shoulder.
I mean, as you peek back out from behind cover, she ain't there. But her voice still sounds like it's coming from the same spot where she is no longer standing.
Man, I'm going to try to take the shot.
Just at that empty space?
Yeah?
Why don't you give me a notice roll?
Okay. 8. We are rolling bricks these
Yep.
last couple.
Okay. You line up that shot on the empty space, and then just like the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And you turn around, just bow drawn, and she is behind you. She was reaching out in your direction as if trying to get hands on you. And you momentarily lock eyes, and you know this is how she deploys her curse, but you have caught her so off guard. She thought she was going to get behind you. She didn't. So you see this like panic in her eyes, and very sincerely, she says, "I wouldn't."
Why not? And I'm like looking just anywhere but her eyes.
"Because if you kill me, then there's no one else to save the poor town of Edge River from its inevitable destruction." And I think that is where we will leave off this time.
What?
Oh no!
Yes?
Do we care about that town? No. I'm just kidding.
Man,
Radical
fuck 'em.
Daves!
I know, but they were all like lying to protect her. And
They're lying to protect themselves from her.
From Wraithing.
From Wraithing.
Yeah, or whatever else she's referring to. Find out next time on
Oh.
Dragon Ball Z. Thank you, everybody, for joining us for another episode of Dragon Ball Z. If you are interested in more Toriyama projects, go to CartoonNetwork.com. Thank you for joining us for another episode of The Crit Show. We're playing the Clockwinders. If you want to know more about that or the Fate RPG, check out the episode description where we have info. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/The Crit Show, where you can engage with a bunch of other stuff that we've done, hundreds of hours, a welcoming, exceedingly so, one might say, Discord community, fucking, t-shirts, posters.
And if there's a game you want to learn to play that's an indie RPG, odds are you can find someone. If it's not us who have made content for it already, you can find someone in that Discord who can teach you how to play it. Probably even run it for you.
Probably a lot of sick hookups in there. You can also get your name read at the end of an episode, just like Patrick Akarvinda. I'm sorry, I took a run and started that. I took a shot at that one. Thank you, and possibly sorry. And thanks to everybody else listening. Join us next time for another series of Clockwinder adventures. Everybody say bye.
Have
Bye.
a lovely evening, darlings.
Bye-bye.
The Crit Show is a Critshow Studios production, edited and produced by Brandon Wentz, with music by Jake Purley. You can find more information about us at thecritshowpodcast.com. To keep up to date with upcoming live shows, contests, and other special events, follow us at The Crit Show on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. For even more weekly content, join us at patreon.com/thecritShow.